Hi everyone, and welcome to Hot Humble Pie, where if you are rich on time but not on money, this is a place for you. Crafting can get very expensive if we're not careful. My channel will show you how to dupe even the cheap Dollar Tree craft supplies whenever it's possible. At the end of the video, I have listed the basic crafting supplies you will need to follow along and craft with me on my channel. So if you enjoy crafting and don't mind spending a little more time on detail, get ready to have some fun. Today we're doing this really cute farmhouse boho little bunny, which personally didn't cost me anything to make, and I'm going to show you all how to do it. Now first of all, you want to start by going to your local lumber yard, Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere that carries wood. They always have free wood, and usually they're pretty generous about getting rid of it because they're going to throw it away. Some managers are weird. The one right down the street from me, not so great, but if I drive 10 minutes further, that Home Depot has piles. They are begging me to take it. I went there twice. I have enough wood to craft for this next year. We're going to be using a lot of it on my channel, so please get out there and collect some free wood. You can also find free wood on Facebook Market if you look up wooden pallets, but nothing beats real wood and nothing beats free. Okay, we're just going to use this Dollar Tree sign here, and we're after the bunny. I'm tracing the bunny. Now you can find this bunny image online, or if you're really good at drawing, you can draw it. I chose the color chocolate sprinkle, but you can choose any color brown. It's not really important. You can even choose a different bunny image if you like one better. Here we're just going to paint it. And you don't have to be real particular this time because we're not after making this bunny look like faux wood in this craft. We're just wanting to paint the front of him to give him a little bit of shadows and undertones to what I'm going to apply on top of him. However, it is important that you paint the sides, and with foam board, it's actually foam between two pieces of paper. And I'm sure you all have noticed, no matter how careful you cut foam board, often little pieces of foam falls out from between those two pieces of paper. So you want to make sure you have plenty of paint on your sponge, and sponges do work better. If you don't have a sponge, you can use a brush. It takes a little longer. But you want to try and get as much paint in there as possible to cover those little white, you can see it right there, those little white spots. Now that's going to be the bottom, so I'm not so concerned, but on the sides I'm really careful about making sure none of that white shows, so that when he's mounted on the wood you can't see that, and it's going to provide a really beautiful 3D image. And speaking of paint, when you head up to Home Depot or Lowe's to take advantage of that free wood, please make sure you stop by their paint department and ask where their boo-boo paints are. Specifically, you're looking for the sample ones. They're 8 ounces, they run about 50 cents. That's 4 times the amount you would get with the apple barrel paint for 50 cents. And they often come in neutral colors like brown, gray, tan, which are wonderful colors for farmhouse decor. Many other types of decor as well. But I just wanted to pass that on and make sure that you go check it out, see if any of them will work for you, and take advantage of that. So I'm just about done finished painting here, and one of the key things in painting foam board or cardboard is that you dry it right away, because otherwise it will curl on you, and that kind of ruins the effect of it looking like real wood. So yeah, I had a hard time keeping him still. He kept wanting to hop away. Now the next item I choose to use is Epsom salt, and that's also available at the Dollar Tree. Now you can use any item you want. Be creative here. If you don't have Epsom salt, you can take some white rice and pulse it in a blender to get the same coarse grind as Epsom salt. You can do it with brown rice, coffee beans, split peas. I was even thinking about doing flaxseed, and you don't even have to pulse those. That would be pretty, but I probably would have painted the white or the wood a whitewash so that stood out a little bit better. But just be creative, let your creative juices flow, and do what makes you happy. Now I also left this section in showing that I am struggling with the glue gun, so that you all can see that I'm struggling with the glue gun, so that you don't make the same mistake. I highly recommend that you use just regular old school glue to do this. You can get 2 bottles for $1 at the Dollar Tree. It's another great deal. However, if you think you're going to keep this craft for years to come, do use Mod Podge. Now Mod Podge is a lot different than craft glue. A lot of people get that confused. Mod Podge has varnishes in it. Basically, in short, Mod Podge has plastic in it. It's very durable, it's water resistant, and it is superior over school glue. So again, if you want things to last, Mod Podge is definitely the first line of defense. Now I do want to mention here that you see me using the orange label Mod Podge, which is the shiny one. I normally use matte, and for farmhouse decor, matte really does work better. You know, farmhouse, when if something's distressed and old, it's not got a shiny sheen on it. But for this particular craft, I had some left, and you know, the Epsom salt already has a shine to it, so you didn't see it and it didn't matter. If you have Mod Podge in both glossy and matte, you can even combine the two if that's all you have. No worries, no problem, totally up to you, just as long as you stick that Epsom salt down. And we do need a second layer of Epsom salt to get the look that we're after. And now you're going to just lay this little guy down and let him dry for a few hours. Moving on to that free wood I'm so fond of. This piece was actually a scrap piece I used to test watered down burnt umber by Apple Barrel paint as a stain. I didn't do the edges, and here I'm using the chocolate sprinkle again that flashed by. Sorry about that. And my first coat, I realize it's going on and it looks a little bit too different from the burnt umber, so I go ahead and add some black, because the sides of the wood should always be a little darker if you have a choice. I mean, it can be the same color, but preferably, if you have to choose, the darker should always be on the sides, because that's usually the area that gets the dirtiest on old distressed wood. Now here I'm just pressing the paint down into the side to make sure it gets in the grooves. I am working with plywood, and I'm going to end up wiping this away so that it performs more like a stain. And that's another thing, when you go to get your free wood, you're going to have choices of a bunch of different kinds of wood, ranging from really good wood to really lousy wood, thick wood, thin wood, plywood, even the big wood that has grooves in it and it has like dirt on the bottom. And don't mistake that for mold. It's actually ink that comes from a conveyor belt. It's the wood they use to pick up those big heavy pallets. Get it all, it's all good. And I also recommend that you invest in a saw. Now I've been using a saw for years, but just recently, because I have arthritic type problems and I hurt my rotary cuff, I got a circular saw, and it was life-changing. I was amazed at how easy it was. It took seconds, my jaw dropped open, and I'll tell you, I'm going to build a house. And on the edges, after you paint, you just wipe it off so that it looks more like a dark stain. Okay, we're ready to glue our bunny down. Now I'm just using hot glue that is completely adequate with wood products and paper products. It adheres really nicely. Something I see a lot of crafters do And I don't know how they're getting it to work. I think it's a mistake, but they're combining their hot glue and E6000 together to glue raw wood together. Now, I have used E6000 alone on wood at least 15 times, and it just soaks in. So what's holding your item together is the hot glue that you're using. So save your E6000 because it's not an ideal glue for wood. If you want to glue wood down, the best glue is still wood glue. It's actually specially formulated to have special fibers that becomes part of the wood. It holds so strong that if you try to break it apart, the wood will often crack off and go with the glue. And you see me there spraying hairspray down to seal in, you know, the Epsom salt, whatever you use on the top of your bunny. Just you can use a spray adhesive, Mod Podge. I'm tapping it on the counter there to show you that the hairspray does indeed work. Really proud of that. So use hairspray if you have it. Use Mod Podge. It's all good. Here's some Dollar Tree twine. I'm going to make a little bow for my bunny because I just think he's missing something. And I also pulled out 2 buttons from my button jar and make some really cute decor on top of the bunny, which I will show you. Now, if you don't have any Dollar Tree twine, you can also just use a shoelace or yarn or anything else. Look around and see what you have. Yeah, I'm struggling. If you notice that, you are correct. I'm using a really short piece of twine because I love saving money, and it wasn't worth it, you guys. It took me forever to tie this bow. Plus, I'm trying to tie it in that special little way that you tie it backwards so that it has like the little loops lay flat and it has a nice middle. And I do succeed eventually, but use a longer piece of twine. Moving on, I'm going to make a little flower. Now, these have been around since the 1960s because I used to have this old crafting magazine dated from the 60s, and they were macrame flowers. And we're just doing it with twine now in the year 2020. I twirl it around my fingers, and then I'm showing you here how I bend it and lay it in the shape of a figure 8 because you're going to tie it in the middle there. And what you're aiming for is to imitate flower petals. You're trying to create flower petals. So, and here I'm separating the cords, just like you do with a big floral bow where you wrap it around and around, then you cut it in the center. Those have also been around forever. These, you kind of try your best to spread out the little strings or rope so that it makes a full circle and looks like a flower. I just thought for Easter, with the spring theme and flowers, you know, this is a beautiful neutral Easter decoration, and I think the twine flower just really sets it off in a cute way. You may also notice I'm struggling with a lot of glue strings in this video. I read that if you freeze your glue sticks, it stops that, but I'm worried that it will affect the integrity of the glue over a long term with its hold. If anyone has any experience, if they could leave a comment below, I'd really appreciate it. As you can see, I do decide to paint my buttons black, and the black actually goes on a little bit like a black wash and blotchy and looks really rustic and good, so I was really pleased with the way that came out. If you do decide to paint your buttons like I did to make it look a little more rustic farmhouse, make sure you seal it with Mod Podge because it will chip off if you don't. And here is the final results, and in real life it is so beautiful, you guys. Please go and get that free wood. It is so worth it. It makes the final result so expensive looking, and it makes all the difference when you're crafting to make home decor. If you like what you saw today, I will be uploading every week, and I've got tons of amazing craft videos in the lineup, so please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button and click all so you don't miss any of it. Remember to breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.